What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today when I talk to you about Palantir, I want to give you a quick overview of some of the data points, what's been moving it, and where I see things going from here. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Palantir is up 2.03%, 78.44 the low, 81.03 the high. The market's been open roughly around 30 minutes. So Palantir is definitely piggybacking off of the market's optimism. No actual news associated to them today or any SEC filings. So the next big thing for them is going to be their earnings. I did cover this in my last video and all the other jazz where I see things going. So realistically, I see it actually having a post-earnings run. I know a lot of people might not agree with that, but that's just, I feel like how it is. And even looking right now, the actual implied move is roughly around 12.56%. So in theory, you could really see that $90 range. And conveniently, that's actually the latest rating that did come out from the poster boy himself, Daniel Ives, Wedbush. So Daniel has a 52% success rating, did up his price target from 75 to 90. And yeah, so now that is the highest analyst rating out there. So very good stuff in that regard. But like I said, I think just the writing was on the wall that it was going to get to roughly around the $81 range right now. And then from post earnings, then it'll kind of go to that 90. That's just what I feel and what I mentioned in my last video. A lot of individuals kind of disagreed and said that it was going to go down to 50. And I think just a lot of people, including analysts as well, not just retail investors, don't necessarily know how to appropriately value Palantir. So you even see like $11 as a price target was given 2 months ago, 28.35, all fairly recent within the last 2 weeks. So it's all over the place. And I get it, some stocks can be overvalued, but generally that is very short-lived. It doesn't last this amount of time period. So yeah, I think all in all, there is still a lot more upside. Even kind of the curse himself, Jim Cramer, recently tweeted saying that Palantir is a absolute beast, which I think all of us can hopefully agree on. But there's one thing that did kind of come out that Palantir could potentially benefit from, and that was this right here. So Saudi Arabia plans $600 billion in new US investment, trade over 4 years. So Saudi Arabia and their 2030 vision, there's a couple of different sectors that they would be really looking at investment in. One is AI, and second most likely is renewables, again to match with their 2030 vision. But I think all in all, Palantir definitely could get a slice of this pie through their investment. Right now, the PIF does not invest in Palantir at all through 13Fs. So potentially to expand their portfolio, I think that Palantir hits all the marks that Saudi Arabia would want from a US entity going forward. So that's just how I see things. Some people might disagree with me on that, but based on all the sectors that I think Saudi Arabia would want to invest in, AI, and of course for efficiency purposes, Palantir hits the mark for that. But going over to here, so existing home sales came in higher than anticipated. So again, I think that was very easy to estimate for that. Similar to what permits and builds happened last Friday. So most likely that's just going to affect this right now. So the likelihood of a cut for the March 19th meeting. So aside from that, that's basically it. Moving over to shorts, I like to give you a quick overview of what they do, not because Palantir's a squeeze play or anything, but it's good to analyze. So 3.81% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 79.81 million shares overall are being shorted. Currently, shorts are returning 173,000 shares. So again, that's definitely a good thing, especially with Palantir being green. It does validate the green day for the most part. Moving over to options, 29 million in calls, 5.12 in puts, 52% of all the options being done are optimistic in nature. And just generally, the last couple of trading days, you've seen lower volume for options. So 165 million yesterday, 194 the day prior, 121. But still looking at the put/call ratio, there's a very good consensus that higher highs are coming. Again, that's just how you can interpret that. Based on the call options that are being purchased right now, you see a consensus for it to be roughly above that around $85 range going into next week. You have a couple pockets right here for the following week, so expiring February the 7th, so that would encumber their earnings, and they are forecasting for it to be around $91. So like I said, I think just the writing's on the wall. Bears on the flip side though, they are anticipating it's not really much actually puts being purchased for the week ending February the 7th. For next week though, they are anticipating for it to be roughly around that $75 range. So still a lot more upside is anticipated. These are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So definitely big money is still paying attention to Palantir. And I think that's huge. Just within like the first about 30 minutes, already more than 250 transactions. Based on this, right now with that $80.31, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So 75.46 is going to be that next strong support. 82.66 is going to be that next strong target / resistance point. So most likely that should be hit early next week. And then hopefully from there you'll hit that 70 or 87.10 next. But moving over to the actual chart itself, let's kind of talk on this for a second. So on the actual chart, you can kind of see it is above the ALMA as well as above the 50-day moving average. You also have the super trend looking fairly bullish. So you have algorithmic trading really pushing Palantir higher. Honestly, the only negative to bring up about Palantir's stock chart right now is the fact that it is overbought, and you can see that from the stochastic RSI. So the first sign of weakness, whether it be specific to Palantir or the broader market, you could see some volatility. So just take note of some of these kind of support points. So the ALMA is currently sitting at 76.02, and then $70.84 is that 50-day moving average. So all in all, like I said, I think there is still a hell of a lot more room for it to really move higher. Let me know if you disagree, and where do you see things going post earnings. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then I did launch a free Discord. You can kind of join that in the description below and also the comments. A lot of good individuals there. You can kind of talk shop, go over options and whatever floats your boat. So definitely take advantage and pop over there and take a look. And then one final thing, if you do want all of this completely free, so analyst ratings, forecasts, ownership, everything under the sun, take a look at IBKR for, like I said, all of it to be completely free. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.